All right, guys, welcome back to the Golf Podcast. This is episode number 308. And we're going to, in a few minutes, we're going to bring on Andrew Rice, top 50 instructor. I always like getting perspectives of the different instructors out there. And it just shows there's so many different ways to teach the game. So getting his philosophy, I believe, you know, his tagline is the everyday golfer. Coach, the everyday golfer's coach. So that's us. I feel like everyday golfers, you know, so that type of thing. So we're going to talk to him in a second. There's a lot to chat about. He's a top 50 instructor in America, rated by Golf Digest, #1 coach in Georgia, and he's got his YouTube channel too. So we're starting to see him bringing a lot of that, the one-on-one coaching he does. You know, that's where a lot of the where you see these accolades, but he's starting to bring that out there, you know, to the masses with his YouTube channel, and we're starting to see that really grow. So I'm excited to chat with him about that. Also, we're back from the PGA show, Mike.
We are.
Yeah, and that was a fun time, exciting time. I hope everybody out there, I hope you all enjoyed last week's podcast with Bob Vokey. Apologize for the audio. We did the absolute best we could, but when you've got about anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 people in one room.
Yeah, I mean, it came out pretty darn good for that sea of people behind us.
We did the best we could with it, but even more importantly, the conversation itself. It was so terrific getting the chance to talk to Mr. Bob Vokey. And if you guys missed it, make sure you go back and check that out, because we also have a one-of-a-kind, very unique giveaway. Mike, you've got it with you there, right? I
do. I've got this autographed Bob Vokey Craftsman glove, you know what he's like, his iconic gloves that you see in a lot of the Instagram posts on Vokey wedges. Really cool. He signed this right on the show.
He did.
And we're just going to give it away because we can't fight over. We can't cut it in half, man. So
I said the amount of people who hit us up on the way out of the show to try to quickly buy it off of us.
I know.
And we said, no. This is a premier giveaway here. This is going to be exciting to give to somebody. And it really will make a one-of-a-kind collectible. You know,
absolutely.
Put that behind a little glass case.
Yes.
Because Bob truly he's a legend in what he's done for the game and the way he's advanced the technology that goes into equipment making, you know, wedge making in particular. It was really cool hearing his story behind the end.
It's always great talk. Yeah, that's a funny one.
It's funny how some of these things come about. So that's something you guys definitely have to go back and check out. I don't want to take too much time. I want to hop into our Twitter tap-in. Before we do that, Mike, let's do a quick word from one of our sponsors.
Yeah, let's do that. So I want to thank Titleist. I mean, we're excited to share a lot of great opportunities from Titleist, but if you want to be a part of them, you have to join Team Titleist. Team Titleist gives you access to opportunities like prototype testing, special events, limited edition gear from Titleist. I believe there's a Team Titleist in like Pinehurst event coming up or something I saw. But either way, in order for you to find out about these, you have to sign up, and it's free. So you can go to Titleist.com/Team Titleist. It's one word. We're going to be doing hopefully a fairway metal fitting, and hybrid fitting at a Team Titleist event pretty soon. A Titleist Thursday event. But see, these are the things you don't know about these events or when they're coming to your area unless you're on or in this group, this free society. That's kind of what I call it. So check it out, Titleist.com/Team Titleist.
Right, those are those Team Titleist events and the get-togethers that they host throughout the years.
Right.
And then of course the Titleist Thursdays, you can check it on their website, and you can see when they're going to be rolling through you. They do them all summer. So we're going to link up with them somewhere for sure. And I definitely am chomping at the bit to do the 3-wood.
Yes,
I want to do.
Same. 3-wood.
And I want to check out, still dive into the other hybrid options, but again, got to look at the 3-wood again at the PGA show this year at Demo Day, and I'm just like, this would be such a good fit.
It would be a great addition to the bag.
It would just be such a good fit. Because I'm hitting the TS2 driver so well, so I want to see what I can do with the 3-wood as well. All right, let's hop into our Twitter tap-in, which you guys know, this is the new segment that we're doing every week where we get a chance to hear from all of you out there. If you're not already following us on Twitter, do so at Golficity. And then every Monday, look for that Twitter tap-in segment and question that's going to go out. Not only do we get to engage and answer some of the questions right on Twitter, but we get to talk about them here, highlight some of our favorites. So this question for this week, the Twitter tap-in is, do you have a golf trip planned this year? That's why I said year. There you go.
Right.
That's my excuse. And if so, where are you headed? Mike, a lot of great responses here. I'm jealous of a lot of these trips that are going to be happening. Any that stood out for you?
Well, we've got, right off the bat, Eddie was probably the first one to reply to this. He said, last year I took my first. I'm planning on having another one, hopefully 2 hours north of me. I bring this one up because I think he's mentioning Whistling Straits.
Oh, There you go.
I know he lives out there, and I know we were talking about getting him out there. But then there was a couple that I didn't even like. I've never heard of, like Paynes Valley. Casey Loves Golf. That's his handle. It's at Paynes Valley. It's Tiger's course in Springfield, Branson, Missouri. There's some great courses in Missouri. You guys need to make a trip. Well, maybe we will.
For sure. Charlie at one of the 9,000 says 3 days at Carnoustie. And then he said May 13th through 15th, wanted to see if you could be on the bag for him.
I'd love to. I'm there. I am there.
I love it.
I'd be such a good bag guy, I think.
I'm happy that you got the caddy nod this time and not me.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know, because
I would love
too
to
much
do it.
caddying responsibility.
I'd love to do it. John Livingston, hoping to play Pebble Beach for my 40th. Awesome.
That is
cool.
really cool.
It's cool.
Spreck even chimed in, Sea Island. I know he loves Sea Island. He was there last year, right? I remember him sending in some pictures along. What a beautiful place that is, that's for sure. Mike Ryder says, Michigan, Arcadia Bluffs, Bay Harbor, and Forest Dunes Black. Can't wait. He says, I think I need some Golficity swag to wear up there.
Yeah, well, we're going to make it happen maybe, huh?
Maybe let's try to make that happen for him.
MJB, 4 days in Wisconsin. He included some tags of some pretty good courses. Erin Hills, Sand Valley, and then on to the Ryder Cup.
There you go.
That's a nice lineup.
I saw your Palm Springs here. Let's see if there's any other ones that stand out.
Kieran's heading to the home of golf. He's heading over to Old Course. Cheers to that.
For sure. And I said, just take that whole experience in. That was just one of the most amazing experiences that we've ever had from golf, from a standpoint of golf, or just even in life. Just
in life.
It was just
walking down that fairway
thing.
At nighttime.
Yeah. It's just a different, it's such a golf town there in St. Andrews. It's just such a different vibe than a lot of what you get here. I mean, we've got a truly epic golf courses. But the fact of the way that whole town is so absorbed by it, you just feel it as you're walking through the town. It's like true golf town, and you just see golfers everywhere, and you can stop to talk golf with people. It's just a really special spot.
There's so many good
lot of Myrtle Beach. A lot of Myrtle Beach.
There's just like I don't even know what some of these are. Sun River, Oregon. Maui next week, Palm Springs, California. Some people are going to some great places.
Portugal.
Gulf Lake.
I see Portugal
Gulf
here.
Lake View in Michigan.
Donato says Casa de Campo Golf Resort, Dominican Republic in July. That's
on our list.
That's a trip I'm truly
That's on our
jealous of
list.
there.
We just like Caribbean golf.
Yeah, we do. We
Caribbean
really do.
golf is where you
so much Myrtle Beach. I can't even shout them all out.
Mesquite.
Someone's
heading out to Nevada to play Wolf Creek. Awesome. Who's that? Sam Radford. Enjoy that. That's supposed to be a great course.
Ryan Donovan says, play around with you guys since I'm local, ?
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, hit us up. If we've got the opportunity to do it this summer, we'll try to play with as many people as we can. And we're going to be doing a number of indoor meetups this year. We've got a couple of spots lined out. We've been working with 5 Iron Golf because their spaces are just so incredible. We're trying to find ways to do those in Chicago, Philly, Baltimore, as much as we can. But I also would love to see if we can do some true outdoor meetups. I know the challenge with that is, and one person who does that really well, obviously, is Eric Anders Lang, with his Random Golf Club and the way he's able to get so many people together. But it's interesting, and he sees that it's a tough problem to solve because, like us, he's only in certain towns for a very short period of time. So it's hard to get to play with everybody who wants to play. So he came up with this idea where like sometimes they go off 100 golfers,
right?
But Eric makes no illusions about how much work goes into that, getting the approval of the golf course, lining it up. It is a lot of work. So that's a tough spot, but we had thought about ways that we can possibly do a couple of local meetups, even here in Jersey, where we can even just maybe secure like 3 or 4 tee times and get maybe 16 of us out there.
I would love it. If we could pull it off, where we could do an outside type of golf on-course meetup, I'm all for it. But also, keep in mind, we've got a Top Golf coming right to Bergen County, New Jersey.
That's
true. I know it's not real golf out there, but if we can do something fun there, we could do a lot of meetups. It's literally 15 minutes from the office. That's where it's going to be. It's
still a ways off, though, isn't it? I heard it's just in the approval phases.
Yeah, we got some time.
So it'll probably be maybe 2 years from now. But it'll be great. And like I said, another venue where we can do these meetups. And I do like those too. We were at Top Golf down in Orlando while we were just down there. And I do like the fact of that, the relaxed atmosphere. And you can kind of just, again, we're not so regimented to 4 people on the tee, and we just were able to just kind of work people in here. Hey, take a shot. Let's do. And just chatting and then whatever. So it's a lot of fun. All right, I don't want to take up too much time because we've got a lot that we want to talk to Andrew about.
One other thing I want to mention real quick about Andrew.
Yeah,
we didn't say at the top of the show. He is for you might know him better. He is part of Revolution Golf, which is now Golf Pass. He's one of the coaches along with Cameron McCormick, Sean Foley, Chris Como, Martin Hall, Martin Chuck, who we did a video with.
He was also on the podcast.
And he was on the podcast a while ago, and Don Saladino for fitness. So he's one of those core group of guys there.
Yeah, and this is just, again, it's ours following that theme of wanting to really just get as many different perspectives from some top coaches as we can on the podcast. So I'm interested to bring him on in a moment. We won't keep him waiting too much longer, but let's first just do a quick word from our sponsors. First of all, guys, the ShotScope V2, it's the world's smartest golf watch. You've got that GPS and the tracking built into one watch. So everything is right there for you. And there's some really big things to come for those guys. We got to see them at the PGA show this year. And what I can tell you is, being such incredible golfers themselves, they know the game, they know what golfers want, and they're always working on it. So they're working on ways to just continue to improve the app, the dashboard experience, which you guys have to see to really believe. There's so much in depth in there. And now they're even the ability to compare clubs in the performance. Like, let's say you were to switch putters, you can look at your performance tracking from one putter to the next. So you're making a more objective decision of what is right for you. So it can really help improve your game in that way. And the V2 is so easy to use. You get all those stats. You get the laser-like GPS, which is right on your wrist when you just look down. It's been a benefit in so many ways. I've been able to rely on it, not worry about it. So you want to learn a lot about your golf game, get yourself a ShotScope V2. You can visit shotscope.com/Golficity. The price, amazingly, is still $119, which to me, I know I've been saying that for a couple weeks now, and I've been shocked that they keep the price where it is. This was the holiday pricing. It's an unbeatable price.
It is. It really is.
Even if, honestly, I would pick it up if it was just the GPS watch for that price, because I find the GPS watch to be so easy to use and so accurate, but you're also getting your stats. So it's almost impossible to beat at that price. So make sure you guys go to shotscope.com/Golficity. Pick one up while you can at that price. It's not going to last forever. Also, FootJoy, the #1 outer brand in golf, ensures that you can make every day playable with performance golf gear for every condition. And we, surprisingly, didn't expect it, but we experienced every condition in Florida.
We sure did. We sure
I'm glad that I brought a couple of those outer layers like you're wearing. I almost didn't. I almost brought just...
I'm glad you brought something.
It ended up being, I'm thinking, Florida, I'm escaping this cold weather, right? Get down there. It was 31 degrees in the morning, windy. So it's great. It's cheap insurance to have that in your bag and ready to go. So you're ready and you can keep playing. And who wants to be distracted by weather conditions?
Right.
You want to be comfortable out there. So all FootJoy products are designed to provide the best golf experience regardless of those conditions out there. And as we know, FootJoy's performance outerwear allowed us to make everyday playable in that 10-round, 6-day epic whirlwind Scotland trip we did last summer. We did get every type of weather while we were there. We got the rain, we got the wind, we got the cold, and we got sunshine. That was the only thing I didn't expect, and we got it. So you can make every day playable. Trust the brand that has been #1 forever. Learn how you can make every day playable by going to footjoy.com/MEDP. And guys, watch that link because there's some fire coming in the spring collection.
Yeah, there really is.
Just say that.
There really is.
Anybody who's watching the PGA show stuff on our social close enough saw we were wearing some of it.
And shirts were dynamite, huh?
That was the first time I remember getting stopped left and right.
Stopped.
Like, where did you get the shirt?
That shirt?
I like that shirt. And I'm like, it's coming. It's the FootJoy spring line. So guys, make sure you check it out. All right, let's go ahead and flash over to, which by the way, this is something we're kind of flashing into the future here because we're going to record with Andrew Rice actually in a moment. So you're going to see we're going to look completely different in a second in a different environment. Ready? You guys ready? Here we go. We're going to go to a different place. Ready? All right, so guys, we've got the honor and the pleasure to have Andrew Rice on the line here. Andrew, thanks for taking some time to come on the show with us here.
Guys, thanks so much for having me on. It's really a pleasure. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, really, truly great to have you on. And for anybody, we talked about you a little bit in the intro, did a little bit of a background bio, but I'm sure you can tell it better than we do. So for anybody who who hasn't yet worked with you or come across some of your YouTube videos or things like that, can you just give us just a quick background, who you are and how you got into coaching?
Certainly. I came originally from South Africa, came over in 1987, played college golf at University of Central Florida. Was an All-American there, All-American scholar there, surprisingly, and played there for 4 years. And then after that, chased the dream for about 3 more years, playing on various world mini tours, and wasn't having enough success. And I thought perhaps I better get a more regular paycheck. And so I started working for David Ledbetter, which was a great decision at the time. David was really the beacon of instruction at that time. And so I started working for David. It was a good time to work for him. And from there, branched out on my own in around 2000. So I've been teaching on my own for 20 years now. And just really enjoy teaching. I don't aspire to be a tour coach. I really try to point my information towards the everyday golfer in an attempt to see how many golfers I can help enjoy this game, this great game that we all love so much.
Gotcha. Where do you do most of your coaching out of now?
I am based at the Western Savannah Harbor, which is in Savannah, Georgia. And I do my 3-day golf schools, golf lessons, all kinds of stuff based out of there. I'm there pretty much year round.
Savannah is it's a beautiful area down there. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a nice town.
It really, truly is. So now you're a top 50 instructor. It really puts you in a very elite category, as you said, working with some of the best, David Ledbetter, and I'm sure the list goes on and on. So that, to me, that screams very elite, like I said, level, but yet you call yourself the everyday golfer's golf coach. So I want to get an idea, yes. What's the meaning behind that? Where's the significance there?
Guys, the message behind that mantra is I really aspire to help the everyday golfer. I am not one who wants to be out on tour coaching tour players, tour caliber players. I do coach a few of those. Mm-hmm. I would love to take my goal, I suppose, my wish would be to be able to take a junior golfer from 15 years of age all the way to the PGA Tour. That, to me, would mean that I've really achieved something. If I start coaching tour players today, they got on tour without me. They're very good without me. That's cool. I really want to be able to help everyday golfers, players who struggle with slicing, players who are struggling to break 90, 80, 100. I want to help those type of golfers. That's really the golfer that I point my information to, and I really want to help.
Yeah, and I would imagine it's a rewarding feeling too, especially someone who's not necessarily playing the game professionally for money, but it just has that pure love for it, and then just seeing them enjoying the game more. I mean, to me, maybe I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I would say that's got to be a rewarding experience.
It's I must say this: it's easier. It's easier to help an 18 handicapper break 85 than it is a tour player win a PGA Tour event. And so it's so neat to be able to get that response, those emails, those text messages from your students to be able to say, hey, Andrew, I got one at the end of last year where a player said, Andrew, I started the year as a 9.7. I'm now a 6.4. Start of the year 9.7, end of the year 6.4. Thanks so much for all your help. That's cool. This player's gone from someone who really struggles to break 80 to someone who expects to break 80. That's a neat thing.
Yeah, and that's no small accomplishment, going from a 9 to a 6 in one season. Everybody knows when you start to get down that level, each additional point you shave off that handicap, it gets a little bit harder and harder. So that's no small feat, that's for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, that's as you get closer to scratch, the margins get skinnier.
It certainly does. And having listened to some of your coaching before, I know you're big on the idea of keeping it simple, and which I'm sure translates really well for that demographic of golfer. But a big part of the game that is frustrating for a lot of us is how complex the game can seem. And that's what leads to a lot of that frustration. So what is it that you do to help kind of keep it simple? What's your coaching kind of methodology or philosophy in that direction?
Guys, I would say this. I think for players that are listening to your show, for players that are surfing the internet for help, let's key in on basic principles. To me, basic principles are impact location. Where are you hitting the ball on the face? Right. Club speed. Can you ramp up your club speed? The faster you swing, the better you're typically going to be able to play. Is your low point in the right place? Is it post-impact with your irons? Is it slightly pre-impact with your driver? Basic principles that hold true for every golfer. I would encourage golfers that are listening in, that are surfing the internet, to try to find help, to work towards basic principles. When you get with your coach, and I would certainly love to be your coach, but when you get with that professional that you go and see for help, that's when you can get down and dirty. That's when you can get into the details. That's where you're really going to start to be able to make some real changes. But the rest of the time, let's focus on basic principles.
And basic principles, I mean, those fundamentals, there's a lot of nuances there. I mean, you wrote a whole book on impact, right?
I did. And that was actually over 10 years ago now. And it was prior to my exposure to TrackMan. I felt like for the time, the book was the best that I could certainly do at that time. I would alter a few things, but not many things. Now, based on 10 years ago, TrackMan has certainly changed my picture, my view of how a golfer is meant to impact the golf ball. I think, ultimately it does come down to impact. It still comes down to impact. I certainly have, based on a decade later, I have a better understanding now than I did then.
I always do find that so interesting. There's that kind of where we're at in golf right now. There's like that dichotomy between, you've got some things like, even like going back to some like Ben Hogan's books are still some of these best sellers, because there's lessons that'll always be there. They stand the test of time. But on the same token, we're crossing this path where technology is becoming so advanced, and the tools that we can use. When we were at the PGA show just last week, I said one of the highlights to me was just seeing how much tech was there, whether it be launch monitors of every kind, or wearables, stuff you put on your clubs, stuff you put on your body. So I know, like you said, you work extensively with TrackMan. Swing Catalyst, I've seen, is the other one. Mike and I had a chance to use a little bit of that, which is another, just an unbelievably technologically advanced system.
It's cool, isn't it?
Really, just seeing a way that force and that you apply to the ground is just, it's very interesting. So how has the introduction of those tools changed your approach when it comes to working with students?
And this is it, really. I think we're in this very cool era when it comes to golf instruction of much deeper knowledge. We have these cool measuring devices, as I like to think of them, whether it's ground force, whether it's 3D, whether it's ball measurement, club measurement. We've got these great measuring devices that are helping us understand what's really happening. And so to me as a coach, I need to understand that. Whether I'm coaching tour players or 18 handicappers, I need to understand that. And for both parties, I need to be able to communicate in a simple, actionable manner so that the player standing in front of me can understand it. They can get a clear picture of what they need to do to start to hit better shots, to lower their score, to have more fun.
And do you find that the uptake from students is a little bit easier? Because when we work with like these, these objective tools like a TrackMan or like a Swing Cat, the evidence is right in front of their face. It's not like they have to just take your word for it that something is what they need to fix. Do you find that it makes it drive the point home a little earlier? Because it's like there's no debating the machine, so to speak.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Both products you've mentioned are they're top of the line when it comes to force on the ground, when it comes to Doppler radar measuring. They're top of the line. Do they make mistakes? Yes. Are these mistakes rare? Definitely. And an experienced coach is going to be able to recognize any mistake that they put out. And so as a result, when I see a number that makes sense to me, we've got to go with it. It's not something that's debatable. It helps us get to the cause, get to the issue that much more readily, and we can start working on the right thing so much sooner. There was once I did some seminars in Australia once, and a coach at one of my seminars came up to me and said, I think TrackMan is a waste of time. I really don't get it. I think it ruins players. And I said to this coach, how did you come to this seminar today? I said, did you come by horse? And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, because you most likely came by car. And I said, a car is an advancement on a horse. And a TrackMan is an advancement on a VHS camera. It just tells us that much more. And so why would a doctor, a physician, a golf coach not use the latest and greatest technology that's available to them to help the people that are coming to see them for help?
Right. That's just it. It's a tool. It's a tool to be used. And I know from my side, being on the other side of that, as a student, not as an instructor, I know that it gives me more confidence when what my instructor is saying is jiving with the data that I'm also seeing in front of my face. Sure. It's something about that just locks the idea in my brain a little bit better. So I think on this side of the fence, it gains a little bit more confidence. But also we see, those are the very high tech, very expensive tools, but there's also some of the, on the other end of that, less expensive, but also very useful. There's a number of great training aids out there. We got to see a lot of them again at the PGA show. I know I've seen you do some work with like, Martin Chuck and some of the other guys out there.
Yes. What did you guys like? I've got a feeling I know what you're going to say, but I want to hear it.
Mike got to try it. Mike, tell him.
Is it the PlaneMate or the swing? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we had some fun with Martin and that early on Wednesday morning. He took us through it. It pointed out some quick things in my swing. I have a very steep swing, so it was just cool to use. It was really cool. It was
amazing how quickly that feedback. I was just for me just watching Mike go through it in like 5 minutes. He just seemed to get like a real physical feedback from it that just kind of made a few things click there.
It's kind of neat, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. I've got one myself. I use it on my students. I just actually wrapped up a golf school in Orlando following the golf show with Martin. And I just got back yesterday. And it is amazing to see what that device can translate for people, the feelings it can give people and go, wow, that's what I need to feel. This is the deal. How can I get that? How can I reinforce that day in and day out?
That's just it. Some of these things that the way they just, as you said, let you feel it. I've seen, you ever see that very high tech robot that'll allow you to feel what anyone's swing feels like? That thing is wild to look at.
I'm gonna withhold comment on that.
Well, what I'm saying is we don't have access to those. Those things are wild to look at. But with this, it's
they're like $100,000 or something.
Mind blowing, right? But with this, with tools like this, where it's simplistically with a belt and a band, we're able to get, as you said, a similar type of thing. It tells us what it should feel like, because you can only describe it so much. So there's that. Is there any other training aids out there that kind of excite you, that you enjoy using with your students?
Guys, I got to tell you, when it comes to training aids, I'm pretty simple. Hey, I'm an alignment rod guy.
There you go. Yeah.
Every golfer has got to have some of those alignment rods in their bag. If you want to get fancy, put that cool little leather cover over the end of them, with your initials on it or something like that, so you don't scratch up your driver. But alignment rods, so versatile, so many different uses, from trying to keep you on plane to try to keep you in line. They're just broad spectrum. There's so many different ways you can use them. I love those.
And talk about keeping it simple. It doesn't get any simpler than that,
Yeah.
It truly does. And it's amazing. Like I said, it goes back to how some of those fundamentals will never change no matter how advanced we get technologically. That's an example of a tool that no matter what happens, that's always going to be important for your swing and for practicing. Also, I know you do a lot of one-on-one coaching. You work with the golf schools, as we mentioned before, but recently we've seen you doing a little bit more with the YouTube channel. So that obviously, it's a little bit different than coaching in person, but it also has its benefit of bringing things to a wider audience. But what is from a coaching standpoint, what's your take on that? How is that as itself a tool? How is that something that you use, and how does that kind of differ from when you're working with people one-on-one?
Guys, you heard me a minute ago mention basic principles and details.
Yep.
Well, when I push out a 13-minute YouTube video, that is not basic principles. Pretty much, I'm giving stuff away, and that's what it's all about on YouTube for me, is I want to give the details away. The question is, do the people who are watching the video know that they need this? And I know that 20% of them most likely do. The others think they might need it. But that's the challenge on YouTube. And so what my goal is with these longer videos and more in-depth videos with slow-mos and cutaways and all that kind of stuff is I want to give away the details. I want to give away the good stuff for free. The challenge for golfers is still and will always be, is this what you need?
Yeah. It's a lot like if, going to the doctor, we can go get the medicine, but what do we need? You need that diagnosis first. Yeah.
WebMD can only take you so far.
Exactly. So for somebody out there who is looking to improve and maybe has done primarily their own kind of do-it-yourself research on the internet, what would you advise? Would you advise seeing, a trained, professional instructor first, and then once you get a feel for what it is, then maybe dive into some specific stuff on YouTube? Is that like a better methodology from a learning standpoint?
That would be, for sure. That would be a great way to go about it. Unfortunately, I know most of the people listening have done it the opposite way around.
Of course.
Because, hey, who doesn't want to save a couple $100 and go, I think I fixed myself. I think I got this sorted out. I watched this great video and, I'm shallowing the club now and I'm hitting it pure. And then you go out and the wheels come off the next round.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that's going to beat face-to-face time.
Right.
Ultimately, that will never go away. No matter how good technology gets, you will still need somebody to interpret what the technology is saying and how it's best going to work for you. And that's certainly where I want to come in. I want to be that go-to person that whether you live in New York, New Jersey, whether you're a Yankee or a Mets fan, it's okay. I still have you down in Savannah. I want to see you come down and we'll spend some face-to-face time. It doesn't have to be often. It doesn't have to be that often. I'm going to give you homework. We're going to be able to stay in touch via my coaching platform. And it's got to be, like you said, let's get the lesson first. Let's get the face-to-face time, the details first, and then we'll know exactly what we need. And then we can pick and choose from those videos on YouTube.
For sure. And I think an important thing you said there too is that homework. because a lot of it, what it comes down to is, we live in a world, a lot of instant gratification. We want the quick and easy fix. So that's a lot of times why we go to, let's say, YouTube. We'd rather watch a 5-minute video than go to an hour lesson. And then following that up, we'd rather it just, whatever we're working on, just be fixed. But the further I get into this game and the more I learn it, the more I realize that a lesson or anything like that is really just the first chapter. It really is, it's putting the work in after that. And speaking, you spoke of David Ledbetter before. We popped by his new school when we were down there in Orlando, which is a tremendous facility. But just seeing some of the juniors out there, the kids who really have a passion and they want to make it, and just seeing the work that they put into their game. Some of those guys are out there grinding it out, doing different things, different drills on the range for an incredible amount of time. And then that's when you realize what it takes to make some of these changes we want to make.
I say I teach a lot of different people in my golf schools. Most of them are over the age of 50. And I say, look, everybody here has become an expert at something, whether it's business, whether it's being a parent, whether it's being a golfer, no matter what you do, you've done it enough. You've made enough mistakes. You've had enough success. You've evaluated, you've streamlined, you've improved over a long-term period of time. And that's led you to become an expert. Golf is no different. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to play bad rounds, but we stay the course. We're going to keep pushing forward. Let's look at golf the same way as we know life to be. It takes a long time to get really good at something. Golf is no different.
Absolutely. Could not have said that better myself. So for any of our listeners who would like to find out a little bit more about you, if they want to maybe come to one of your schools or see some of your YouTube videos, what's the best way for them to find you? Is there to go to your website first as a jump off point, or what's the best way for them to find out a little bit more about yourself?
Oh, thanks, guys. The key is Andrew Rice Golf. If you're trying to find me on Twitter, on Instagram, Andrew Rice Golf. My website is andrewricegolf.com. On YouTube, I'm Andrew Rice Golf. My goal in 2020 is to ramp up my YouTube presence in a big, big way. I've got a professional editor who's editing my videos. We're doing the best we possibly can for you each and every week. I'm filming stuff like crazy, trying to get it out there to share those details with you to help you do better. And so whether it's via my website, YouTube, social media, connect with me there. I'm going to go out of my way. Let's get better together. I want to become a better coach. You want to become a better golfer. Andrew Rice Golf.
There you go. That's what it's all about. And we'll link to all that, of course, in the show notes too, for anybody, if you're driving out there or anything like that, and you want to circle back around to it, we'll link to everything. And Andrew, I'm sure you're going to have all the success that you're looking for with that YouTube channel. I've been poking around on there, and as you said, the quality is terrific, but also the instruction. And I think one thing that I've attached to with it is how you do explain things in a way that simplifies it. Because again, I think one of the most intimidating factors with this game is when things get a little too complex. And, especially us who are not trying to necessarily make it on a mini tour or, make a career out of it. The guys like us who are just enjoying it, we're like, if it gets complex, we just naturally sometimes take a step back from it. So I think the way you do things and the way you explain things and the visual aspect you've added with the YouTube videos has been a real help for myself. So I'm sure it will for our listeners as well.
Thanks very much, guys. I really take that as a strong compliment. My objective is to communicate clearly, to paint pictures. I love painting pictures for golfers because oftentimes when I see them 3 to 4 to 6 months later, they go, "Hey, Andrew, I'm still trying to do that weird picture you gave me, whether it's, the break open the Christmas present or be the Eiffel Tower or whatever picture I've given you." it's amazing how people relate to that and they remember that and they work on that, and most often it helps their game.
Hey, those visualizations really do help. So listen, Andrew, appreciate you taking the time. I know you've got a very busy schedule between coaching and the different programs you run. So it's great to get a chance to connect with you, and we appreciate having you on the show today.
Guys, I sincerely appreciate it. Thanks so much. And I wish you all the best, eh?
Thank you. I hope we get a chance to catch up with you again soon. We'll chat with you real soon.
Look forward to it. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Take care.
Take care, Andrew.
And we're back. That's
Look
the
at that
magic.
magic,
It's the
right?
magic of the
Beautiful.
the internet, I guess, right? So long story short, basically with Andrew is just the timing of when we were able to record. He's a very busy guy, and they said, especially his team was saying this time of the season, there's just no getting a hold of him during daylight hours.
Right.
Because
Makes sense.
he is out there teaching, he's doing his one-on-one coaching, he's doing his lessons, his schools. So fast forward, we had to record our interview at night, but we were able to stitch that in here for you guys, and you guys can take a look at that. So pleasure talking to him, of course. Always feel like I learned something whenever we talk to these coaches, especially guys who are teaching at that level of the game, top 50 in America. Just a wealth of information.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, it's just great getting it. We get it from Spreck. Last week we were with the guys at Game Like Training over there. We even ran into David Ledbetter out on the range,
Yes,
which was
we did.
great. And we'll be doing something with Michael Breed, hopefully. So Martin Chuck at the show. I mean, the knowledge, it's all there at our fingertips. I mean, it's great working with these guys. I feel like I pick up a little nugget every single time.
I truly do too. And speaking of which, that Ledbetter Academy down in
Incredible.
Orlando
Oh,
was
incredible.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that, because we will get that video out for you
That was
guys.
a fun one.
We had a lot of fun. You guys heard the guys from Game Like Training on the podcast not too long ago, so we got a chance to go down there and work with them. That was something that was a lot of fun. But anyway, one thing that I wanted to say for sure is, if you like these interviews, and if you like, hearing from some of the different golf coaches and their different philosophies out there, let us know by leaving a comment. But another thing you guys can do for us is, if there's a particular coach, or it could be a mental game coach, could be a swing coach, somebody who you feel like has a philosophy that you want to know more about, you want us to dive into a little bit deeper, let us know, because we'd love to reach out and get them on the show. I really do enjoy these interviews. They are a lot of fun. And I do feel like we all learn a lot by just kind of tuning into them. So you can always email us, podcast@golficity.com. You can DM us, slide right into those
in there.
DMs, whatever you got to
on in
do.
there.
There's a million ways. I always say there's a million ways to get in touch with us, but get in touch with us, because we would love to hear from you guys, and we would love to hear your suggestions for people that you think would make for some great interviews on the show.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So again, thank you to Andrew Rice for taking the time to speak with us. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. If you're listening to this on iTunes, if you can leave us a quick iTunes review, that's always much appreciated. We do read every single one of them, and we do learn a lot, and it's a lot of the ways that we are able to grow this show by hearing from you guys. So next week we'll be back, and thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you all.